All right, can you honestly tell me that's not one of the coolest names for a role-playing game that you've ever heard? No, you can't tell me that. So we're gonna play. Hi, where's the camera? Hi, my name is Brian, and I'm an alpha. Sorry, wrong thing. I am gonna solo play Across a Thousand Dead Worlds. It is a very cool game that is huge, and I want a hard copy of the book. But in order to do that, it would be very expensive. So I told Alex, the creator of the game, that I am going to do an actual play, and if I can get 10 people to buy the PDF off of DriveThruRPG.com, then he has to give me a copy of the game. He didn't technically agree to this, but I'm just going to assume that he did, and we're going to move forward. So here is the setup. I don't have technology. I'm not a actual player, gamer person, a streamer, whatever the word is. So here's what we have. I have my dice tower. I have my dice. I have this stock to put the camera on. I've got 3 copies of the PDF so that I can play through the game. We've got my character sheets. We've got little trackers for various things. The combat map, some colored pencil, and an eraser, and my brain pan, and I want to show you how cool this game is because it's super cool. Also, I need accountability. When I play a game like this, if I'm just by myself, I either spend way too much time journaling and writing and writing and writing, and then the game turns into a slog, or I fly by everything and it doesn't seem like it's worth doing because I don't remember anything that happened. I'm a chatty bastard, and this seems like the best way to document it, and also drag some people along for the fun, and also maybe get a copy of the book from Alex. Hey Alex, we're doing it, okay? Anyways, we are now going to play. I am already playing. We are going to actually enter in the middle of my game with Hugh Vaught, I think his name is, and he is a failed businessman who is screwed out of his business back on Earth and is now taking this as a last Hail Mary stab to make some money. Oh, you don't know what I'm talking about. Across a Thousand Dead Worlds is a game about desperate people taking their stab at becoming filthy rich, but also probably dying in the process. Humanity found a space station, but that belonged to the Arsai, a alien race that was extinct like whatever hundreds of thousands of years ago, and now we are using their spaceships that just fly to random Arsai locations and basically grave robbing, right? Like stealing resources, bringing them back, and selling them to make a profit. That's the gist of it. I'll tell you more as we go. This isn't going to be a great, like, where to begin video. Maybe? I don't know. You decide. You can watch. I'm doing this as much for me as I am for you, so if you get something out of it, fantastic. I'll put the link for DriveThruRPG down at the bottom. If you decide to buy the game, please make sure to, when you purchase it, put a comment on the DriveThruRPG page and mention my name, Brian Hazard, and tell Alex that you got it because of me, because I need 10 of you so that I can get a copy of the game. So, okay, without further ado, let's play this game, and I apologize in advance for all the things I'm probably going to do wrong. That's fine, right? Like, rules are supposed to be a framework, not a cage, so if I don't get something right, that's okay. Ready? Yes? Good? On we go! Before we get deeply into the meat and potatoes, I just want to at least show a little bit of the PDF by Alex T. Amazing work. Alex lives in Spain and doesn't have direct distribution into the United States for this book right now, which is why the hard copy is a little steep. But the PDF is only $20, and my God, is it worth it? Because for that $20, you are getting 446 pages, something crazy. You can just look there. 446 pages, gorgeous formatting, really neat system, a bit of crunch, but really well designed for solo roleplay. And it's got a ton of tables and ways for you to, do things on your own, which we'll be doing. They'll be rolling. I'll try to pause if it gets to the point where I'm rolling so much that it's going to drive you crazy. So yeah, that's that. All right, so let's go. I haven't the foggiest idea what's the right way to do this, but I'll introduce you to our current protagonist until he's not around anymore. Hugh Vo, level 1. Hugh has a bad nervous tic of bouncing his leg, which kicks in when he has too much stress. He also is currently suffering from hedonism as a result of his actions, and he's tired. So now he takes more work for him to do combat. This system is very simple. When you have to do a check, an ability check or a skill check, you just roll a d20, add it to your stat, and if you reach 20, you are successful. If you did not, then you are not. You have little talents down here. I'm not using the emotional state yet. It's recommended if you're new, you should hold off on that. And I am new, so I'm holding off on that. Back of the page, we've got everything that's in our pockets. I've already been walking around a little bit in this this site that is distorted in time and space. So I've already got some cubes and some data crystals that I've collected. That's basically money. And then I also have a few things in my pockets. And yeah, it gives you a little section to tell about your background. I was a plastic miner. I moved my way up in the business, and well, Hugh did. I guess not me. Yeah, I need to separate myself from Hugh because I'm not sure how things are going to go for him, and I don't want that to be me. He is highly motivated. Nothing can stop him. However, he fell to ruin at the hands of someone's pettiness. That was his. He moved up in the world of plastic mining, started his own business, started doing really good, and I'm going to say like a partner took advantage of him and screwed him out of all the money, and so now he is trying to do something with his life in his middle age. He is 38. Yeah, we're pushing it. He's practical. He carries a little sketchbook in his pocket. I absolutely forgot that I had rolled that up. He is a white dude, 6'11", 190, sturdy, not athletic. Like a miner. Not a miner. He's 38, but like a miner with, rocks and stuff. Well, plastic. Plastic miner. How do you... Anyways. They give you a little part in the book. We'll give you some details for your character that helps you sort of flush it out. Now, one of the things about this game that's really cool is that as you play, you're actually going to have a party. Even if you're playing solo, you're going to have a party, and that party is going to consist of non-player characters, which you fill out on this sheet and just give them some basic details. If you're really into the crunch, you can make entire character sheets for everybody if you want to do that. I don't know that I ever will. I'll probably go with like the rules for creating NPCs that, and what's great about this, and the reason that this is fun to do, even if you're solo playing, is because it gives you conversations to have and people to bounce things off of, and like conflict to exist there between the characters. In my solo play experience, I have only played single characters without parties, really, right? Yeah, I really have. Anyways, so this will be kind of neat, but I decided for my first run, I was just going to have one person so I could get used to the mechanics and sort of play with things and see how it would go. So what did we do? We went to Karam Station. Karam Station is where everybody starts out at, and Karam Station, here, let me show you. Look at how high-tech we are. Me showing you anything is just me pointing my cell phone at the PDF on my computer. But, whatever, you're getting a good view. Look at that. That's Karam Station right there. An alien, it was an alien base found inside of an asteroid, and then the company that found it, Drake Industries, built a space station sort of around it. They give you some background on Earth. Boy, that stalk is really inconveniently placed. Yeah, they give you some background on Earth in the 21st century. You can tell this is the first time I opened this PDF on my computer because it's like, generating it as I go. But Karam Station is really well fleshed out. There's details on the security, all the downtime activities and carousing you can do, and places you can go. And basically what happens is you go on missions from Karam Station, and basically you're not paid. You're a volunteer. You have to pay for your room. You have to pay taxes. That's technically in the Karam Station Blues sort of like supplement that somebody made. But it makes sense. You have to pay taxes. You have to pay for your room, even while you're not there. These expeditions take weeks for you to go on, and every week you're gone, you still have to pay for your room. And then when you get back, you turn in all this stuff. You keep some of it, and your experience points are based on how much money you turn in. So every 1,000 Drake coins you turn in, and also I love that they're called Drake coins because it's Drake Industries, so it's like company script from the old days of like, I owe my soul to the company store. Like money you can only spend here. You don't even get to keep. Hold on. Okay. You don't even get to keep all the supplies that you buy. Right? They'll give you a few supplies to go on each mission for like free, like some basic food and like a crappy little pistol. But if you buy other things, you can't keep them on you. When you're at the station, they put them in a locker somewhere, and you can go collect them. It's almost like you're leasing them. The money is only good on the station. The stuff's only good when you leave the station. It's dark. It's not grim dark, but it's dark. Like everybody dies. There's like some huge percentage of people, like over 75-80% of the divers die. They're called deep divers when we dive into these alien sites to explore. They can be planets, they can be space stations, they could be like whatever, asteroids. They can be all sorts of stuff, and they're procedurally generated when you go there. Okay, I just wanted to like be looking at you when I explain this, so that you can see the joy on my face, because I think it's a great theme. Okay, man, this is the highest of production quality, right? Who needs to do things right? Yeah, you let them know you want to go on a mission. You choose the right spaceship. If you're going alone, you get the little circle. If you're going with a group of 3, you get the triangle. If you're going with a group of 5, you get the pentagon. They won't allow you to go with even numbers, and if you're going by yourself, you have to take the circle. If you're going with, you can play this cooperatively, so your friends and you can grab like the triangle or the pentagon and go on that. Classy names, right? And that determines how much space is on the ship, because you can like run back and forth. You can like go into the alien place, find some stuff, run back to the ship, put it back. But you're always rolling for events and activities and running into stuff that wants to kill you. So yeah. People tend to name their ship when they take off in it. I named my ship, didn't I? What did we name it? It was definitely named something. Hold on, I have to find the. Here we go. So this is the place that I went. The name of my ship is the Mortal Refuge. That sounds positive. Hi, Kit. What's up? You want to go on a space exploration? That wasn't a yes. Poor dog has allergies. Anyways, every station you go to, they'll tell you, there'll be a certain amount of time to get there, how many resources and artifacts can be collected there, and then like the dates and the voyages. For the dates, I didn't really know. I just put the actual date that I started this because I didn't know what to do. So your mileage may vary, but this is a way to track all the different places that you go to. It's got pages on there. And then you also have, no, what is it? Oh, no, that's for bad guys. That's not what I was looking for. Don't worry, this is very organized. I know exactly what I'm doing. Yeah. Okay, here's what I was looking for. This is the site expedition report. So every time you go on an expedition, you fill out one of these. You give the details. Basically, this is what they want from you. Hold on a second. We're gonna. Is that better? Anyway, so in order to get paid, you gotta fill out your paperwork in triplicate and turn it in with a TPS report cover. So what it's like, what's there, how many things are there, the hazard type, which is really interesting. In this case, distorted means time and space don't perform correctly here, and sometimes when time is supposed to move forward, it moves backwards instead. This is how many cubes and crystals I found. I'm not getting into that right now. This is the stuff you want to find. I'll tell you that. Those are resources, and every site has a certain number of resources that you can find. This one has 17, and I have 17 instances, and that I have found 2. I have not found any of the artifacts yet. And you got to count off time as you go. And there's little details that tell you how that works. And these are all the different creatures you could find. You get 5 Drake coins for every new encounter that you document. Not just any encounter, but new encounter. So like if I run into a Titan a second time, I don't get 5 more DC. You get 75 Drake coins for every alloy cube you find. But every alloy cube you find actually takes up 1 full slot on here, which means you might have to run back to the ship. Data crystals, on the other hand, data crystals are worth 50 each, and they are light objects, which means they're pocketable, and you can have up to 10 of those just in your pocket. But 10 pocketable things equal 1 slot up here. So I've got like 6 data crystals chilling in my backpack up here. I could run them back to the ship and drop some off there and then run back and get some more. It's all about the money. You got to get the money. That's the whole point, is to become rich and apparently get... This is the encounter that I'm about to have, this evil alien creature. Oh my. There really is an encounter. You guys, this is very poorly... This is bad timing for your fight. Okay. I'll let you know when the dice say there's a fight. You can start. Okay. So where are we? Let me tell you where we are, because we are picking up in media res, if you will. Okay. I am here. Or, well, Hugh. Hugh is here. He's at Yutmu 034561. And he's been having a bit of a hard time of it. He has experienced a few things. He landed the place where his ship landed. The door kept moving on the wall because of the whole distorted reality thing. So he tried to go through that door. This is the landing pad, and he went through that door into this room where there was like a glass wall, and on the other side of it there was this thing called a. I believe what he was fighting at the time was he had I have a few monsters now. There's these three, and then there's this guy, the Eoler, a synthetic brute that was a serpentine, and it was made of stone. It had tendrils. It had one side-facing eye, and a mouth. But I really didn't need to fight it. I just needed to move on. I didn't get any experience for running into that guy because if you're a new diver, you can choose to go to a site that's been explored by somebody else already, and in doing so, you're less likely to die because you have more information. So, for example, for me, when I came to this planet, four of these guys already existed. Like, you roll them up ahead of time. So if you go to a pre-explored site, you know how long it's going to take to get there, what kind of environment it is, what the place is like, what the monsters are like, and half of the stuff has already been taken, which is why I cross those out. But, you have a little more information, because otherwise, when you get on these ships and fly out, you have no idea what you're going to run into. Like, you could just, these ships don't tell you where they're going. We just get on, we don't even know how to fly them, right? We just get on them, and they take off with us on them, and they bring us places, and it could be, you could die. You could just show up and die. And you also have no idea how long it's going to take to get there. So when you're on your first flight, it could take weeks to get there, and you have to guess how many supplies you need when you get on the ship before you go. And so, yeah, you just might have to turn around and come back, or you have to start like eating half rations and going crazy and getting at each other's throats. And once you land, or once you arrive, then you roll up to find out where this alien ship has brought you, because they just have like thousands of coordinates programmed into them randomly, and when we get on the ships, they fly to places. What a neat idea. I understand that Alex was inspired by a series of books, or a single book that so everybody who plays this game is like, wait a minute, isn't this from that one thing? And he's like, yep, totally. Alex is great. He's very open and honest, and he has a Discord server for Black Oath Entertainment where he answers all your questions, and it's fantastic. Let's come on. Can we play the game, please? All right. So anyways, so he got through the door that was fletching around. He goes into this room where there was like this glass wall, and he was about to fight this serpentine thing, and it just walked away, which is a thing that can technically happen. When you roll for an encounter on a 9 or a 10 on a d10, they just wander off, and I was like, yeah, that's right, you better. And then I walked into this room, and this room had a door on the other side. I think it had a couple doors, but there were all these holes in the wall, and it turned out that these were like breeding holes. Oh, I forgot to tell you that the thing about this place is that there's a constant strange noise. And I decided, okay, this is going to be like a rattle, a hum, a thrum, like a squeal. I picked like 6 different sounds, rolled a d6, and came up with thrumming. So I walked into this room, and there was the table said, okay, you're going to have an encounter, there's a thing. And out of the holes came this gigantic swarm of these, basically, my wife, when I described them to him, she said they were eardrums, giant flying eardrums. Which isn't too far off. And I decided that these things were like vibrating as they flew, and they were actually the source of the thrumming that you hear all over this place, which means they're probably all over the damn place. So these things were huge. They were like a flat membrane. They also had sprayed acid out of the orifices that were around the exterior of their body. They had 6 eye stalks, and I like to think that they were just like making puckering like mouth movements at the end of the eye stalks, and so flying and spraying acid. And I like to picture like the acid as they were just spraying each other, like the acid's kind of getting everywhere, and it doesn't affect them per se, but because they have that membrane in the middle of them, like this flat plate membrane, they're vibrating, and the acid's getting on it. And so then the acid's like, like if you put a liquid on like a drum or something, and so it's like popping and fizzing and sort of spraying and dancing around. So these things are just bad. They're just awful. And I ran like hell because there was no way. They were elite, right? They were like big dudes, and they were definitely going to kill me. So I just ran away. So I didn't get to go. I didn't get to go any further there. So I had to backtrack back to the ship, and I used the door again, like the door that kept moving on the wall. And then I went into another room where there was a plinth, like Total Recall. And like, at the end of Total Recall where there's like that alien hand thing that he has to touch to put the oxygen back on Mars. So it's kind of like that, but it was like what the game refers to as a mind door. Do you want to see? I'll show you. Hold on. Okay, so in the game you can have locked access points, and sometimes you have to hack them or you can't get through. This one I could get through. Unfortunately, it was a mind door. Upon crossing the threshold, it becomes clear that it wasn't meant for the human mind, a sharp psychic pain, plus D20 stress. Stress is a mechanic where it builds up and then bad things go wrong and you get traumas and you have to try to find ways to get rid of it. So I rolled and I got 20. I rolled 20 stress. So I went from like 6 to 20 instantly, and so it cleared, but then I got a trauma, and that trauma, and I haven't figured out why yet because I decided to just roll randomly, that trauma was hedonism. So you live once, you just gotta go with it. I went through the door, and Hugh went through the door, and what he found, so he goes through this door, and he ends up in this. No, sorry, he didn't go through the door. He activated the plinth, and the plinth created a door, and the door started like flashing like really fast, like if it was like a slide projector showing several places. So like you could go through that door. And yes, I just made this up. No, that's not true. I had rolled something that made me think that, because there's these great tables in here that help you roll stuff. And I had rolled, I wrote it on the Discord. Basically, I came up with the idea that, like, every time you go through this door, you end up somewhere different. And one of the places he might end up is back on the station. I did, like, a 2 out of 100 chance that he would end up back on the station. Didn't happen. But he did... Oh, no, that's right. He went through the mine door. Let's pay attention, okay? He went through the mine door, and it drove him all crazy, and then he had this horrible sound in his head, and it kind of reminded him of the thrumming that he heard from the walls. And he got so frustrated that he yelled out. When he yelled out, he actually made a noise unintentionally that was the same as the thrumming noise. And when he did that, that caused the door to open that does the slideshow thing. And then the craziness, like the sound was wiped from his mind, and it was over. It was like something caused him to be able to speak to open the door. So that was kind of cool. And so he went through the door the first time, and I just rolled to see where he went, and he ended up in bingo, a big fat vault filled with resources. That was very satisfying. This particular site is a vault. There's different types of places you can end up. This is an asteroid-based vault. So the RSI, we're using this that's their original purpose from what we can tell. And this one was literally like a giant bank vault with like holes in the wall and crystals and cubes falling out, and stuffing my pockets. And I actually spent some time to meditate to reduce my stress a little bit. But then that was it. There weren't any other doors there. So I went back. I went back the way I came, and I went through the door again. And when I went through the door again, there were 2 Titans. I went through, and I didn't even get a chance to roll up what the room was. It was just these couple of Titans, which are these like guardians that defend these RSI locations, and they're kind of bad dudes. Here are the guardians, right? So these guys are they will fight to the death to defend things. The ones I ran into was one of these Titans. They're like these big bipedal robot things. They can actually shape change and shrink to fit into smaller spaces, and they give you the stat blocks for them. And I just ran. Once again, Hugh being the brave man that he is and knowing his own limitations. I mean, I have a gun, don't get me wrong. Like, before I left the station, I had a little bit of coin in my pocket, and I did buy like a carbine rifle that has some stats. But I'm by myself, and these things were huge, and I don't get any extra money for killing these things. So I just turned tail. And that's literally where my last play session left off. I was typing all this into the Discord server for Black Oath Entertainment, but I think I was starting to annoy people because I was posting so often. So I decided, and I told Alex I was going to do actual play. So here we are. So this is where we're at. I can stop holding this camera now because my hand hurts, and we'll point it here, and we will. Oh no, I'm probably gonna. I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I probably should have like an actual camera. I hope I'm not making you barf by moving it this much. I should probably move it slower, like that. Is that better? Yeah, there will be waffling. Shout out to A Man Alone, the YouTube channel, king of the waffling. It's funny, when I first started watching him, I was like, I wish he would talk less and just, get on topic and play the game, and now I like his waffling. So I shall waffle in tribute. Let me just get myself settled back in, and we'll get cracking. Okay, let's talk some contrivances, all right? This game has a time system. Every tick of time is 10 minutes. After 6 of those, you have to rest. You have to spend an oxygen pellet. You have to burn a battery. You have to rest, which takes a time tick. And also, because I'm in a distorted vault where time moves forward and backwards sometimes, anytime time moves forward, there's a 50% chance that it moves backwards instead. So I was keeping track of time by putting little tick marks like on my sheet here, and then like doing a red one to indicate that I had rested and the time was done. But because of the backwards forward things, that started getting tricky, and so I'm going to use this instead. At first I was like, well, I'll use a D6 because there's 6 ticks, but I actually need a 0. I need to be able to have a 0, right? Wait, do I? Because if I get to 6 and then I tick again, it doesn't go to 0, it goes to 1. Huh. I don't know, we're gonna use this one. So like, whatever. Like right now I'm on, I just did 6 and I haven't done anything yet. Why is this hard for me? What is wrong with my face? Alright, whatever. I just did, I'm on 6 and I had already rested and done all that stuff. So, I guess I could use a D4. I don't know. We're off to a great start, right? All right. So here's my D4, my D6. Can you see that? Whatever. Let's put it right there. Okay. Let's give it a spot. Let's give it a spot. I'm gonna make sure that I don't accidentally use that for something else. So, time. Let's see. I don't have his scissors up here. All right. Whatever. We're gonna do this. Like that. And take that off of there, and then we're gonna take my colored pencil thing here, and we're gonna make a big box right here, bloop, 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 and say time die. Nice. Okay. And we're just gonna slide that right under there, and then we're gonna put the die there. Beautiful. That's our time die, so we got to keep track of time. However, there's also a lot of things I'm noticing that I have to keep track of that is a pain in the butt, and I keep having to erase on my character sheet. So I think instead of having to constantly erase here and beat the hell out of the sheet, what we're going to do is I'm going to use my cubes. I got this little set of stacking cube thingies, right? So we're going to take one, and we're going to use these cubes to represent different things. Obviously, white is oxygen pellets, right? So I have 2, 4, 6. I have 8 oxygen pellets. Batteries, what color are batteries? Batteries are obviously orange because they have energy in them. So I have 2, 4, 6, and 8 batteries. Okay, so that's my supply of batteries and oxygen. I have ammo. So obviously ammo is going to be black, like, I don't know, shut up. So that's gonna be ammo. I have 9 of those. 3, 6, 9. Okay, and then I have so that's pellets, batteries, ammo. Do I want to use this for stress too? No, because stress can get up to like 20, and I don't think I want to deal with 20 separate cubes. What was the other one I was going to use it for? I have purple. We're going to use that for fine, we'll use it for stress. What difference does it make? I currently have 1 stress, so purple is... Wait, do I even have 20 cubes? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I have 19. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Now, as a gamer, you know that means I think I lost a cube somewhere, and now it bothers me. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Shit. All right, whatever. So we'll just track stress on the sheet. Shut up. Anyways, all right. So that's what we're doing. That's the jam. That's how we're going to keep track of our. You don't need that on camera. All right. I have hedonism. That doesn't have a mechanical value, but it'll come into play at some point. Based on things and stuff that happen. Right. I have to move this up a little bit. That's probably better. And I'm tired. So when you do combat, you have 10 stamina. And regularly, an attack costs 5 stamina, but because I have the trauma of tired, it costs me 6 stamina. As you can see, that is horribly inconvenient because now that means I can only attack once instead of twice. So, and I can't really get rid of that while I'm still out and about. I was making the decision after pillaging that vault. I had decided that I was going to go back to the ship and drop stuff off. Why did I go to the Titans instead of going back to the ship? Maybe I thought I could get a little more stuff? I don't know. Brain rot. Wasn't the best move. But I have run away from the Titans, and I am back in the room with the plinth and the magic door. And I am not going to move back to the magic door right now. I'm going to have Hugh go back to the ship and drop stuff off. Do I want to go back? Here's the thing. You have to pay for your room every week you're not there. And it took me, how many weeks did it take me to get here? It took me 3 weeks to get here. So I have 3 weeks of rent I have to pay. Plus I think there's some tax or something. And so yeah, I need at least a few $100, a few hundred Drake coins to make this worth the trip. And what do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 cubes. It's 75. So that's what 150, 153. So 450 in cubes, and then data crystals are 50 each. So that's what 300. That's not bad. Oh, and then I had some scrap that I found too, because you can scavenge for scrap. Should I go back yet? No, for the sake of we just started, and you guys probably want to see something more than me just immediately retreating. And I'm not that connected to Hugh. I don't know that guy that well. I'm like, who are Hugh? Anyways. And there's room on the ship, right? The ship has 32 spaces for inventory, and I'm only using 18, so I could dump a few of these things on there and go back into the thick of things. So that's what we're going to do. All right, how does that work? I'm glad you asked. So what we're going to do is we're going to explore, right? We're going to move around a little bit, and in order to do that, we are moving through the locations. Now, I've already been through here, and I know that there's nothing dangerous at the landing site. It's still going to take time to move there, right? But there's not going to be anything. I don't have to roll to see if there's anything bad there because I've already been there. Let's see. Going to page. I wrote it down. Explore, page 144. Thank you, Ryan. So yeah, if I'm going into a new spot, I would use this. Okay, close your eyes, removing camera. If we're going into a new spot, I would be using this little table to see what's there. And then there's many, many more tables. Like each one of these also has its own table, which is pretty dope. And this gives you like a little way to create connections between spots. But I've already been here, so I already know this is where my ship is. This particular location, like everything's made out of this weird green gray organic looking stone. I decided that like at the landing spot there's probably like some broken down old security things like cannons or whatnot, like pulse spitters that are for security because this place was a vault, but they're dead. They're not doing anything now. And something when I rolled this place up, the oracle said that this is a place of a terrible tragedy, and I think that the distortion that's going on here is a result of that tragedy. And I also think those awful flying acidy eardrums, wow, that sounds painful, doesn't it? Don't think about that. Are some sort of consequence too. What I like though is that I don't know, and maybe I never will. Like there's nobody to answer that question. But yeah, this place is in pretty bad shape. So we're going to go back to the ship, and that's going to cost me a tick of movement on my time thing. So we'll do that. Well, it might. It might cost me a tick of time. It might not. And what's weird is that, like, it could go backwards. And I don't even know fully, like, maybe it is good that I was doing this, because then I was moving back, and I would ask Alex, like, hey, man, does that mean I have to eat? So, like, every 6 ticks, you got to pay a battery and an oxygen pellet. And I was like, do I have to pay again? And he's like, no, I don't think so. So it's weird. Anyways, who cares? It doesn't matter. It's a framework, not a cage. So we'll just do whatever we want. That's how solo role-playing works. Let's see if time moves forward or backwards. We'll go with a D100 for the funsies. Oh my, that wasn't a real roll. Here, let's do this. Bam! Now you can see the dice tray. Low is a yes, so that is a yes. Time did go backwards. So low is backwards, high is forwards. So time went backwards. So now we're back on. We've moved 10 minutes in reverse. I can't even imagine how to process that, like how that would work with the actual location. So, like, does that mean the Titans now don't remember that they saw me in the first place? No, just we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Okay. So we went back to the ship, and it took us. It did not take us 10 minutes to get there. It's very weird. If I drop the things off now in the ship and then try to move, and 10 minutes goes backwards, is the stuff not in the? Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right, so we're going to move stuff from my backpack to the ship so that I have some more room. It's just using the back of this page for ship inventory. So let's see. I'm going to move all these cubes. Yeah, I'm not going to make you watch me do this. I'm going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cubes and 6 data crystals to the ship. Please hold.